Fuel critical.
Alright, gang, let's do this thing. I think we are in pretty darn good shape with materials, although we really should straighten out this drill rig and send it down in so we can go off and do other things while it's gathering a whole big bunch of material. And we already have a lot, but I think if we straighten out this hole, we can do something interesting with it in the near future. So I'm just going to go ahead and quickly just make this disappear, reconfigure it, and then we'll move on to something else. Okay, I think I like this new configuration, although I'm going to try leaving a space here, so this first drill, as it orbits around that empty space, it will collect from there, so that should be covered. And then I've got a space here, and then if we count over 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, I actually could have put one more space for this pattern and extended this drill out, but I didn't want it to hit against the storage or be too close. But I think we're good here, so let's run this down and give it a shot. I think I'm going to extend it out into this hole and run it down and see what we get. Okay, the first thing I need to do is slow these speeds down on these pistons. Probably rebuild my groups as well. This I can run out at full speed. Use this down piston first, and this one's definitely going to have to be slowed down. Go with one, which is probably still too quick, but that will give me an idea. Okay, I didn't get all the way out. That's okay. Should have put another horizontal piston on there, but without that extra one, I'll be a little bit more stable. So let's go ahead and spin up the rig and see what we get. Okay, and I am going to drill over my hand drill spot. It looks like this rig's going to break down into that. That's alright. Here's some gravel that I dumped. The drill heads will probably pick that up and put it in storage. That's fine. We'll use that when we get to the point of building superconductors. We need gravel. Although, you usually end up with a lot more gravel than you actually need, but it's definitely good to have some in there. Good to have too much rather than not enough. It can be a pain if you don't have gravel right when you need it. Okay. Let's run this down. This is way too quick, I can tell already. I'm going to stop it. Let's do a 0.5. Whoop. Probably still too fast, but we'll go with it. Now this time we definitely need to keep an eye on our storage capacity because we only have 3 large. This can fill up pretty quick. Keep an eye on what's happening here. I think this is going to be a bit too fast on the downward movement. Looks like it might be okay. Oh, there goes the gravel. But we're going to know in 1 or 2 more revolutions. And it's again, it's this outer edge that I'm worried about. Here goes our wobble. So yeah, we're too fast. I'm going to reverse it so we don't break anything. Oh, all right, we're banging. It's this one, I think. Of course. All right, I think the rotor head is probably spinning too quick.
Fuel low.
As well. Let's just down to 3.
Fuel critical.
Alright, yep, well, we broke it. There you go. Okay, well, I brought in the horizontal piston rather than pushing up the vertical, so there you go. Broke the drill head. Well, maybe I should label. I guess I should label things, okay. Yep, definitely should. Okay, this is horizontal. There you go. Learn by my mistakes. This is going to be up. And what are we doing here? Something's going down.
Inventory full.
Right, no problem. We'll just throw this thing back together. This might be a good chance. Should I put that second extender piston on there so I can really reach out, or are we good? If I put a second one on there, it's going to lessen the distance I can reach over towards the storage. So I think I'm going to leave it like it is.
Fuel low.
All right. We need to fill up our tanks. Definitely do. Where's my O2 generator? Right there. Hydrogen. Tanks full. Okay. get new rotor head. Okay, I think this pattern might do the trick. Let's see, you got there, space there. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Space 1. This pattern might do the trick. So, you know, on survival servers, we're always concerned because we're limited to 5 drills total. So I like to leave 2 on a ship, which maybe sometimes leaves me 3 on the rig. It depends. I change it around, but 5 is the limit. So if we can come up with more clever ways to use smaller drills to get as much digging done, even if we have to wait longer, that's okay. So let's try this 3 drill pattern and see if we get complete coverage. It is going to be slow, I can tell that already, but first thing we need to do is make sure that it will spin all the way around without hitting into the large storage. So I'm going to slow it down, really slow, and just take it around one time. It's this side here I'm concerned about. While that's going, yeah, looks like we're good. Good. Yep, okay. So let's take it up to, this is a really wide 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so that means the advanced rotor rotation speed is going to have to be brought down so the drill head, the outside drill head, has hover time over a certain area to pick over the target area to pick material up as it's moving by. So the wider the drill head, the slower the rotation speed has to be. So we'll try 275. And that out of the 3s. We'll just take a look at that outside. You get good at this eyeballing it after a while. That looks to be a little bit too quick still. So you know what? Let's take it down to 225. This is going to be really slow. The whole rig. Entirely. But that's okay, we can go off and do other things. Not in a hurry, this is not a race. This was the piston that got me in trouble before, the up piston. So let's just bring this on down. 0, 1. Quick look at it. It's pretty quick still. You know what? I'm gonna have half that speed. On this, if the drill rig starts to get in trouble, starts to sputter, stagger, vibrate violently, I'm gonna have to jump on that piston. Sit right here. It's gonna take a few minutes for it to come down. It's really odd how it's looking as if it's digging up dirt when it's still hovering a meter in the air. Okay, let's just give that a few minutes and see what we get. Alright, we are just about getting down to the bottom of that piston. And also we're getting into the stone, so that's good. So what I've done here is created a group. While I'm waiting for this to go down, I've created a group for these 3 pistons. And then I took the speed that I ended up adjusting this one to, and then divided it by 3, because there's 3 pistons in that group, and then set that group speed to that, 1/3 of this one, which would be equal to that. And we're going to, after this piston gets all the way down, we'll engage this group to continue the plunge, and then we'll go off. And I think maybe, back in episode 1, we had a data pad that was in our inventory. And the game spawns you a data pad with the closest station to where you spawn. And we have one marked as a GPS. I think we'll go and explore that just for something different. And then after that tour of a basic introduction into the economy of the game, we'll come back and take a look at the drill rig, and then maybe wrap up this episode. And in the next episode, we're definitely going to get into creating our first small grid ship, and with the goal of ultimately getting up into space where the uranium and the platinum is, which we so desperately need. So right now, because we're pretending we're multiplayer survival, the goal really is to get uranium as fast as possible, because uranium allows you to be sort of on the down low with your base. You don't have big wind turbines or solar panels advertising your location. You can even go underground with uranium if you wanted to. So we definitely want to get up there and get that. And it's also the best in-game ship fuel propellant, so uranium is the early game goal, as fast as possible to get that. We'll wait just a couple more minutes for this piston to bottom out. Oh, looks like we're actually just about there. Yep, I think I heard it finish. Okay, so we'll take a look at our piston groups here. Here's the piston up. The speed that we settled on was 0.007. And we have to create a group going with the equivalent of that speed. Like I say, divide by the amount of pistons that are in the group. Here's my down group. 0.7. This is actually going to be infinite threes, but close enough. And I think we're okay. Velocity, yeah. I think we can reverse it. Make sure we didn't mess anything up. Looks like it's going the same. Let's take a look and see. You can see movement. I hear movement in my headphones. Ever so slowly. See, I'm looking right in that gap right there. You see that white spot? It's slowly moving away. So that's good. Yeah, we have movement. Alright, so let's check our tanks, our hydrogen. So first of all, where was that station? Oh, here we go. Earth. STEX. Where is that? There it is. Over there. 19 kilometers. Okay, so if it was about 30 kilometers away, one bottle would be pushing it. I could probably get there round trip with one bottle, but I'd be worried about it. But certainly 19 is easily reachable with one bottle, but I always like to carry two. Never know what you're going to get into. So let's go ahead and refill these. Make sure any extra weight is off of you. And I think we're ready to go check out the economy. Take one last look. Doesn't look like anything's going to explode while I'm gone, but in this game, you never know. Alright, let's go see what we got over here. Station STEX. These stations are generated by the game itself, the AI, and all the players can see them in the multiplayer world. Now we're obviously playing offline, so we don't have really anything to worry about, but in the multiplayer server environment, you just really don't know what you're going to run into. There could be another player at this station, there could be an enemy ship docked there, owned by another player. There's a safe zone bubble around the station. As long as you're inside of that, you can't do harm to each other. Nothing can be done to you, and vice versa. Ships can't be harmed either. And there's docking ports. You can put your ship on the docking port for 15 minutes before the station will automatically disconnect you. I don't think you can get a charge from the connector while you're attached at a station. I have to test that. But I do know that after 15 minutes, the AI station will disconnect you. And once it disconnects you, you can be pushed out of the safe zone. So if you decide to leave your ship there, for instance, and it's on the the top of a platform, and the AI station disconnects you, an enemy ship could conceivably push you out of the bubble and grind your ship or take it. They can't connect a landing gear onto it and haul it away inside of the bubble, but if they push you out of the bubble, they can clamp a landing gear on the top of your ship and then say goodbye. This is an interesting spot. Look at this. Okay, we're about 4.5 kilometers out, and we can just start to see the glimmering of the bubble. This would be fun to get to in rovers. Neat spot. Alright, let's land outside of it and walk in. We could fly in, but let's just do it this way. And here we go. And we're inside. And if you're out of jetpack fuel, conveniently there is a ladder. I think we're going to fly up. Take a look at the top. Here's our connector. And let's have a look inside. Here's our ATM. Target, hit F. And this is where we track our in-game space credits. We are given a default balance of 10,000 space credits, which is enough to buy a couple small things, but not too much. Contracts is where the AI gives you jobs to do to earn space credits. There are a number of different types of contracts. Acquisition, where you can build items for profit. Bounty, where if a player has been up to no good, the game will pay you to take care of that problem. Escort, which is AI combat, sort of fun. Hauling, you get a small package and you're sent off to a destination to profit on delivery. Repair, self-explanatory. And search, same deal. You get coordinates and you have to go find some remnant there, some ship or something, and you locate that and you're paid. I prefer the acquisition contracts. A lot of them are big money. I see we have almost $1 million for that contract. 35 superconductors. So if I built 35, put them in the hull of my ship, docked on that connector, and came back to this window here, I could click, well, I'd have to click accept, but once you have accepted them, once you come back with 35 in your cargo, you hit accepted contracts, the one that you're going to be paid on will show up here. You click on finish, and the money automatically goes into your account. Now these cycle every 15 minutes, so if you see one here that looks good to you, you definitely want to accept it while you're seeing it, because by the time you get back, for instance, if you want to not accept it right away because you want to make sure you have the items to fulfill, it's going to be gone when you come back. So if you think you're even close, go ahead and accept it. The worst thing that could happen is you could fail and you'd get a small loss in reputation points, but it would take, hundreds of these reputation points for status to change. In other words, if you get low enough on the reputation scale with this particular AI faction, it will turn red and it won't accept you. You can't open the doors and so forth. But again, that's hundreds of reputation points. So a few failed contracts are not going to hurt anything. And when you successfully complete one, you get more than 4 points. So it's definitely just fine to lose a couple contracts. 644 bulletproof glass. This will be much easier to complete than the superconductors. Superconductors require gold and other elements that may be harder to get, but bulletproof glass, you can manufacture that by digging stone only. Construction components, same deal. So the more, generally speaking, the more money, the harder the element to get. Or harder elements are included in the recipe, I should say. Okay, so that's your contracts block. There's another block in here, aside from ATM, for the store. Let's see if we can locate that. It's usually pretty close to where the contracts block is. I haven't seen this particular station design before, so I don't know exactly where it's at. Let's look around a bit. Here we go. Okay, the store block. Alright, so there's essentially two different basic types of stores. One type of store sells. They sell components like this, down to raw ore. Uranium ingots are pretty handy to buy, to power ships in the early game before you get into space if you need to, or to power a base reactor. Or to manufacture a reactor, I should say. The other type of store is where they actually sell they sell full ships, from very small grid ships all the way up to full-size, very interesting spacefaring vessels for hundreds of millions of space credits. But once you buy a ship this way, then it's yours to blueprint and change up any way that you please. So that's pretty fun. Not really much to see here. You can also sell off anything that's in your backpack or anything that's in a docked ship for space credits. But again, those acquisition contracts yield so much money for so little work. I don't really see a huge need for selling individual components for profit, but you certainly could. And a big use for the economy is to get those space credits saved up so you can buy zone chips. And then let's see if this store block is selling zone chips, and if so, what are the price? Let's sort by price. I do not see zone chips in this store, but if there were, zone chips are the fuel that powers a safe zone generator. So you saw that there's a bubble around this particular station controlled by the AI. You can also create a safe zone bubble around your own ship or base, and they are powered by zone chips. So that really is the best use for the economy, to create yourself a safe zone area for your faction or for yourself. And really, once you've been discovered and there's someone aggressive after you, another faction or a player, that's really the only way to protect yourself, aside from fighting it out. But when you're offline, you can't really fight. You can defend yourself with turrets and so forth, but a very good player will take them out pretty quickly. They'll dig up under your base, or there's a number of different ways that turrets and defenses can be defeated. So a safe zone is really the only way to go. Or fold that base and move somewhere else. Have a bug out base. Okay, that's really, in a nutshell, that's a basic introduction to the economy system and the AI stations. Where's my base? There it is. Off we go. Alright, looks like the drill rig has proceeded a good ways. It still has about 2/3 of its extension left to go. How much material have we put into the cargo hold? If we look for stone, we've got over 1,000,000 in one, 1,000,000 in the other, so we are almost just about completely full. We've got to catch this before it gets to 421 if we want to avoid wasting. So we'll let this get up to just over 4, and then we'll go ahead and just power off the piston extension group and the drills. Let the refinery run to catch up, and then we'll run it again and so forth. We timed that just about perfectly. And if we waste a little bit, no big deal. So now we're getting into the numbers that I wanted to see earlier. Just have to watch out because lightning damages parts of the drill rig, and once that happens, the stone looks like it's flowing, but it's not. So yeah, now we've got over 2 million stone. There we go. Okay, we're topped out. So the piston's down group, just power it off. Now the drill rig is just going around, but it's not going down any further. And I'll go ahead and power off the... I should probably just go ahead and create a group for the drills and the rotor. And call it drill power up. Power up. And just power that off. And we usually put a light in that group as well, somewhere on the rig itself. Okay, so now we've got tons and tons of stone. To bring this episode to a close, I think we're going to need a work platform out over here to build upon. So I will go ahead and fade to black as I'm extending this platform out. We will see you next time.